Hello, everybody. Welcome back to season 3 of Talking Books with Tanisha. Um, I'm so excited. We're just getting started. I have just finished doing my first interview with a really amazing author, Patrick Flores Scott. We have many more authors and guest speakers and just guests coming in general to be a part of this season. But I also am going to be talking about books because I really want to think about the stories in which I've been reading the last couple of months. And the books that I know for sure are books that would be considered, if they haven't already been considered, as being books that might be banned in some areas. Why choosing banned books as the focus for season 3 might be a question that you're asking. You know that I really believe that's important to get strong, diverse, representative books into the hands of both our youth and our adults, mostly because we need to share stories. And there's lessons in the stories that we read. There's opportunities to learn more about each other, about ourselves. The ideas of windows and mirrors is really real. The idea is that mirrors give us reflections of who we are and a chance to kind of learn more about ourselves as we're learning stories about people and characters who look like us and the stories that are similar to us. And then windows opportunity to kind of look into like other people's lives and other experiences and be able to learn and appreciate that too. And there are a lot of really good books, and there are a lot of books that people are saying we shouldn't have access to. And I want to really think about that why. Why are some stories not worth being shared or being told? So I went ahead and I've been thinking about, what are the stories that I know might be, threatening, or also books that really need to be in the hands of people. I really want to think about this more in an affirmative kind of way, because we have a lot of stories that should be told and have been told, and they are affirming and they are valuable and they help people feel good about that their realities. So I wanted to say thank you for the Brave and Kind bookstore, which is where I got the image behind me. I love how they put the pattern, like the kind of weaving behind the book. And the book I'll be talking about is The Talk. Can you see? Yes, The Talk by Darrin Bell, who also was a winner of the Pulitzer Prize. It's a graphic novel. You can kind of see my copy here. It has beautiful images inside. And this actually was purchased at at the African American Museum in DC by a family member, and was gifted to us. And so I really appreciate that gift because I went ahead and went straight into it, and I was so excited to be able to read this graphic novel. Which I do feel like, a lot of people have different opinions about graphic novels. I think the graphic novels are powerful because the imagery with them is so much also part of the storytelling. Um, and there's a way in which they become accessible to people who maybe don't want to have a traditional book, a novel. And so this is a way we have a chance to have like a lot of good text on the pages, but also really a lot of great graphic images as well. And it's amazing. It's a really beautiful book. So this is really the story about Darrin Bell himself. It's his story. He's telling it. And it's really more of a story that leads up to the conversation about what it means to be a Black young man in the United States. And he grew up as a multiracial person, a biracial person, actually. His mother was white, his father was Black. And he talks about, kind of this idea around the tension of what it meant to like not quite fit into the Black community, but also not be accepted by the white community, and also be identified by almost everyone who saw him as a Black person. And his mother was super protective, really wanted to be there with him as he was going through the things that he was going through, but he was carrying some secrets with him. He had some fears. There were some things that he really didn't want to share with her or anyone else. And as he gets older, he starts kind of taking back the fears. Like he starts being able to kind of reclaim the strengths of who he is, as he starts getting closer and closer to understanding his identity. And also it eventually prepares him to be able to talk to his son around his identity and things to pay attention to. This book is called The Talk. And of course, if you are a person of color, a Black person in this country, we know The Talk has a very specific understanding of what it means, like when you are confronted with racism, when you're confronted with police as they're coming to you, and how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to make sure you survive those moments. But I would also say that this book has many talks embedded in it. And some of the talks are between him and his father. Some of the talks are between him and his mother, between him and his brother, who have very different ideologies of what it means to be Black in the United States. And then eventually between him and his friends, him and his partners, and then him and his children. And so with all those different levels of the conversations, we have a chance to kind of go through his journey, understand who he's becoming and who he kind of is questioning and, being kind of troubled by. And then also kind of like how he comes into like himself. It has a really beautiful way in which he tells the story. It's very seamless. It's a pretty big book. In terms of like, length, there's multiple pages. I mean, there's a lot of pages in here. And also it goes by like really fast. So it didn't take long for me to go through this. I would say that it is geared, I would say late middle school, high school would be able to benefit from it. I do think there are probably parts you could even talk to with upper elementary as you kind of like worked your way through it. But I think the most powerful thing is that it's written. It's a beautiful story. It's a true story. So it's actually his story. And it kind of takes into little chapters, and every chapter has a different focus and they build on each other. So it's easy to kind of break apart into chapters and kind of really go deep into like unpacking some of it. Or it's good to read out all at the same like at one time and then kind of come back and unpack the whole story. There's multiple ways you can kind of access this. And it's worth talking about. It's a Black male who is being focused in his story. He is the highlight of this. He has multiple ways in which his perspective and his life has played out. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He's a graphic novelist. He's an author. It's worth reading. It's called The Talk. And I hope that you're able to get you a copy and take a look and share it with someone else that is in your life who maybe just needs to learn more or also just kind of be reaffirmed about who they are is enough. Yeah, we're going to make sure that everyone has a chance to look at that. And I really highly recommend that you get a chance to read The Talk by Darrin Bell. What else am I reading right now, you might be asking, because there's always something that's right here on my shelf. I just got a copy of the Ace of Spades. I bought a copy of the Ace of Spades, and I'm very much enjoying that book so far. It's still all new to me. I'm only in like chapter 3, so it's very, very new, but it's moving really fast. So I'll be able to talk more about that as we move forward. Like always, if you like what you're hearing, like please make sure you share it with other people. Please like and subscribe. It'd be great just to kind of get people, having these conversations. Feel free to share what you're reading. Go ahead and put into the comment section. Like, let's make sure we're sharing books with each other. There's a lot of great stories out there and a lot of great authors who really deserve to have their stories be told. It's been great. Like, I hope that you're enjoying these episodes so far. If you haven't had a chance to go back and look at the summer dump, those books, those videos are still there. There's a lot of really great books that also were talked about. I would say we're talking about the terms of like, BAM books specifically, we might be looking at about maybe 90% of the books that I've been reading since season 1, and if not before, would all be considered BAM books in those lists. Which kind of tells you like my preference for stories. I want to have stories I really affirm identity, that really allows to have opportunities to learn about other people and ourselves. And that we kind of dispel the idea that BAM books are dangerous and actually start thinking about BAM books as strengths and like little gifts that we can be giving to each other. So all that to say, I hope you have a great day. Keep reading, share this with other people. Stay tuned because we have lots of great things coming up this season. Some really amazing authors, some really great interviews that are happening, and a few more books that I'm going to be talking about personally. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for being here.